Hi everyone, good afternoon from Vienna. My name is Adela Mehijanic. I'm your host of Making It in Austria. I see you have a background, it's like Christmas background, so I promise I will change it to the more summerish background next time. But without further ado, I would like to introduce you at our wonderful guest. Today we have Darina Slavova. Darina, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. Everybody's busy. It's July, so it's before the vacation. So I'm really happy to have you with us and you sharing your story. So let's start with your introduction. So what would you like to tell our viewers?
Thank you very much for inviting me here. I saw you had already great guests, and so it's really an honor to speak to you. My name is Darina Slavova. I come originally from Bulgaria. In the meantime, I have lived longer in Austria than in Bulgaria, but the emotional connection is still very, very big. So it took me more than 20 years to apply for the Austrian citizenship, and I still haven't received it. I'm married. I have been married here also for almost 20 years. I have two children, 15 and 12. And graduated here in Austria. So I came as I was 21 in the middle of my studies in Bulgaria, and came to Austria and graduated here economics at the University of Vienna University. Mm-hmm. And straight after I started my career in international companies, first Hewlett-Packard. There was 10 years in channel and business development in Eastern Europe. That was really great learning time for me. And I always felt it's like the connection to Western and Eastern Europe, because I come from Eastern Europe and I have the possibility to be in the headquarters in Austria. And later on, due to different reasons, very much privately driven, I moved to the Austrian market, where I started in the Xerox organization in selling managed print services. And it's now my 4th year at SAP, where I work in the mid-market area and in the area of business transformation and enabling small and middle enterprises to grasp the digital transformation with SAP.
Thank you, Darina. You're my third strong lady from Bulgaria, so we have.
I could recommend more in case you need recommendations.
It's really, really an honor to have you, ladies. So Miglena Hofe was my first guest. She's running the collaboratory co-working spaces, and the second one was Liliana Lazaro Aguera. She's from the female founders. Yeah, and she recently became a mom as well. So we're in the same moms group. So you're the third one from Bulgaria. So nice to have you on board, and extensive experience. So to make it a little bit more tangible for our viewers, so tell us how your day look like. So can you describe your ordinary day, or is everything out, very flexible?
It is truly very flexible. Yeah. To be honest, I'm so happy that so far throughout my career, I had always the possibility to work the way it fits me. This is really a privilege. On the one side. On the other side, it is really difficult to decide when to stop, because you're so free that you can make whatever you want. My current job role, commonly known basically as account management, account executive, means actually that I'm responsible for developing the strategies of my customers towards their business transformation journey. I work a lot with system integrators, with partners, with consultants. We make workshops. I have conversations with my customers, see what their pain points are, and then I come back and then I analyze what can we offer as a next step, or what would be the plan, what solution would fit. But it is really so difficult, and my children are now in the age when they are actually they're very far from deciding what they're going to do for the future, but generally they're looking what I'm doing, what my husband is doing, And if they ask me what is your job, actually, it is very difficult to describe it with one word. Yeah, I work with people. Yeah. That's probably, I work with people. I try to understand what are the pain points and find solutions for it.
Yeah, I think we all, it's like people and technology. So it's always this role of either translating or implementing and executing. Follow-up question. So how is the business transformation, digital business transformation in Austria, if Austria is your market?
Austria is my market, and the last 3 years I spent in the large and enterprise organizations. So I was working with big banks, insurances, some industrial companies, public sector, healthcare. So we can imagine these are the sectors where business transformation is a big word, but still kind of far in the future, the way we see business transformation, digital transformation in an IT company, because at SAP we live business and digital transformation, probably in other IT companies as well. But the one thing that actually, if there is one good thing about this pandemic, I mean, good is really exaggerated, but one positive impact for the organizations is that they realized that change is needed. So basically, that was a trigger for many companies. And now, since the beginning of the year, I work in the mid-market. So these smaller industries, and I see that some of them have struggled, and some of them have realized soon that they need to open new channels to their customers, needing to digitize documentation, automate the way they work with their people, with their employees. They need to trust their employees more. So there is, at the moment, I think there is a rise in the mindset, a change also in the mindset. But generally, I wouldn't say Austria, in the Austrian mindset, generally, of course, you always have exceptions, but generally, I wouldn't say that Austria is a first mover country. And very often business transformation, digital transformation is technologically it is connected also to cloud. Use something as a service rather than take care of it. And here there's some way to go. So I see also the potential also to explain the advantages, the security advantages to the customers.
True. That was my experience back in the days, and I remember in 2015 when I started working in the field of IoT, Internet of Things, and big data. And my very first customer meetings were about, the cloud. It was at the beginning, 2015 was a year when it was started to digitalize even more. And some of customers said like, no way, I will never ever put my data in the cloud. I only want to have a server next to me or whatever. So somewhere where I know where it is. And, it takes a little bit of time. So day by day, that things have changed, and the impact that other companies have, made or created, it's so important. And I remember, so one of the things was that Austrian companies have been looking always what the others are doing, for instance, especially Germany. So they were always very keen on having us bringing them examples like, okay, what, we are in the, whatever, healthcare, or we are in the logistics, but, tell us what other companies are doing, bring us examples, show us the use cases. And the process was very, very long, like 6 months to get to, the first workshop. And then there was like 6 months to decide on, if we going forward or not, and so on. So I see that not much
has changed. We're still struggling. We're struggling, but it's getting better.
Yes,
I think it's really
I can imagine. Better, I think we all realized, especially, in as you said, digitalization of administration in my personal life as well. If you think about, we realize that we can do so many things via email or phone call, that we don't need to be basically going to Magistrat or all these places, whatever, health insurance companies and so on, that we can do so many things through emails, and it works perfectly fine. So I'm happy for that.
Really. I have to say also the public administration has done really also big steps towards automation. As I mentioned before, I applied for my citizenship at the end of last year, and so still waiting. That's a process, and I get like a list of 50 types of documents that I need to present. And I was really surprised when, with my A-Trust signature, how many things I was able to download from the internet. Yeah, so some confirmations and extracts about insurances, and so from the finance administration. So a lot of things I could manage digitally. So I was really positively surprised, to be honest. Yeah. So
we are discovering that as well, my husband and I, because we are also in the process. So it's like he was as well surprised, like, oh my God, I found so many things that I can download online. I don't have to go some places. So that's really, really good. And I'm happy for that, because, you know, our life and what we are, so has changed dramatically over the couple of years, and some things, aspects of our lives haven't followed, you know, like if I'm working, you know, from 8 to 5 or 6 or even longer, how am I going to make an appointment at 8:30? Or how am I going to even going to places where you cannot make an appointment? You have to show up and then wait for like a couple of hours to see so okay, you know, it was going to happen in a couple of hours, so you sit there and wait. You know, it's this kind of, okay, everything else is going so fast and faster, speeding up, but some aspects of our life just skip to be you know, steady and not moving at all.
You know, actually, when you there is the point in terms of you know, advancing is not technological. You know, technology is actually developing too fast for any human to be able to keep up the pace. And you know, we have so many channels also professionally, and in parallel we have also the personal channels. But even if I stick only to the professional ones, you have the email, you have Teams, you have Zooms, you have your mobile phone, you have SMS, you have probably Signal or WhatsApp messages in parallel, and everybody's expecting that you reply straight away. And when you get an email and you do not reply the same day, somebody's getting worried. So what's wrong? Why is it taking so long? Yeah. So in the past, in the very, very, very past, you sent a letter or a fax, and then you thought about it, and then you wrote an answer. Probably 1 week later, you got an answer. Yeah. Over the telephone, it was faster, probably. But now everybody's expecting things to happen immediately, which is putting a lot of pressure on people. So the problem that we have with business transformation is less technological, but how to manage it in the culture in the company, to make sure that people really keep up, and also to set expectations which are achievable, and not bring people to burning out and to be completely overworked. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Darina, now we have touched a little bit, you know, you 20 years in Austria, applying for the citizenship, being married, have kids here. Tell us a little bit, you know, about your first days back in, if you can, what you can still, you know, remember or share. And especially if there has been, you know, some key learnings or some struggles that you would advise our viewers to keep an eye on it.
You know, I'm so happy that I still have a story to tell, because now when I'm looking at newcomers, particularly from the European Union, I'm not speaking about countries outside of the EU, because they still have a lot of challenges. But for me as a Bulgarian, now when I'm looking at younger students coming to Austria, they just come, you know, well, I'm here. Yeah. So you apply to work, you have your insurance, so everything is done, you know, basically. Okay, language difficulties and cultural change, and you know, you're alone. So these are important things, but basically from the hurdles to stay in Austria, nothing has left. You know, nothing is comparable to the time like 20 years ago. I had to, basically I was studying already in Bulgaria, and my father used to work for a company which produced wooden parts for garden umbrellas. Doppler is the name of the company, and an Austrian company. So they were producing in Bulgaria and exporting to Austria. And the manager of the company approached me. And to be honest, I don't know. It was more really proactively from his side. Probably he saw some potential in me. I don't know. And he said, a friend of his has a daughter and she's in Austria, and she's happy. And have you thought about going abroad? And to be honest, well, that was really 23 years ago. Going abroad from Bulgaria, it was like, something really big. And as a student, the only thing regularly, work and travel, but it's expensive for as a student, had Erasmus, Socrates, whatever programs, but you need to be a really top student, so to get the financial support as well. So working also all the time in Bulgaria, so during the studies, so I was definitely no A student. I was passing my exams very well, but I didn't have the success, my results were not really enough for the 2 places that we had to go abroad. So I thought, well, that's a great idea. Yes, let's do it. And he said, but the only thing is, in Austria, there was an agreement between Austria and Bulgaria at that time. When a student in Bulgaria studies regularly at the university, you can come to Austria and study exactly the same thing at the conditions the Austrian students have. So at that time, studying was for free. There was some membership in the Austrian high school organization, this stuff, but it was ridiculously low. So basically studying was for free. He said, okay, we are ready to give you some money as a loan, as a start. But if you go there, you have to make it yourself. And I said, of course, I will do it. I had no idea what I'm going to do, but I was 100% sure I will make it. And then I applied for the university. The confirmation came pretty soon. So that was not the hurdle. The hurdle is how to make it there. Then actually the story started because I applied for permit to be able to come and study, and waited, I think, 8 months until it came. And this permission to stay, like a visa, was actually due to this administration work. It was issued only for 6 months, and 4 of it were already passed until I got it. So I received it kind of, or not, even more was passed. So basically, after I received it, I had like 1 month to go to Austria, because the extension of this permission can only be applied from Austria. You cannot apply once again in Bulgaria. So within 2 weeks, I gathered everything, and then I came to Austria to apply for the visa. And the application for the visa and the condition to stay in Austria were really very severe, and I had to have a place to live. I had I needed all the insurance and all the stuff, confirmation from the university, so all these things are, let's say, achievable. But I also had to prove that I have, at that time, still 70,000 shilling for my for being there, and then I came to Austria with 10,000 shilling. So that was my my starting money, so to say. And I really at that time I didn't have an idea how I'm going to collect the other part of the money. To put it in when I'm calculating what it means in euro, it is now in euro, it is so ridiculously low. I mean, after 20 years in Austria, but of course, to inflation. And so it's like somebody's telling you have to show you have 20,000 euro. And so that's not the one-to-one calculation, but with all the inflation and so on. And how and to come with 5,000 or with 3,000, so and you don't know how to collect the rest. And I knew already three other Bulgarians in Austria, in Vienna, other students. I knew where the dormitory is in the 8th district. I didn't have a room, and I had another contact how important networking is. Yeah, I used to work in Bulgaria, also in the IT company. Where at that time we were building PCs, so the customer would come and say, I need that RAM and that hard disk and this monitor, and we were building this in Bulgaria. And one of these customers had a friend in Vienna. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to Vienna, I have this and that problem. And he said, this is his name, this is his contact, his telephone. Tell him that you have it from me. Maybe he can help you, maybe not. I have no idea. Yeah. So I had my 2 bags. I arrived at that time Südbahnhof. Yeah. Took the bus 13A, went to the dormitory, and went to the secretary. It was middle of the Easter vacation, and said, "Here I am. Do you have a room for me?" She said, yeah, actually, yes. And she put me in the same room with another Bulgarian. And I said, do you probably have another room where it's not a Bulgarian, because I want to speak German. I don't want to speak Bulgarian. So, okay. So I received another room. Then I approached the other guys I know. I knew from before. I mean, I have met them only once. And then I called and he told me, okay, it was a lot about trust, So the one guy told me, okay, I can give you like 20,000 shilling, but that's all I have, because I have over the winter he has cleaned some snow and they have paid him. But the other part of the money you have to find another way. And then I called this other contact that I had, and we met and explained the situation. He said, okay, good, I will help you. So, and we went to a bank, and he said to his, this was really lucky, because he told to his contact at the bank that he wants to help me, and I need for one day only, like 40,000 shilling. She made the transaction, and I signed with a future date the transaction back. So one day I will have the money on my bank account, and the next day it is going to be sent back. And the next day I went to the bank. I took out, so to say, the confirmation that there were 70,000 shilling on my bank account, and I applied for the visa, and it worked. But it was believe in yourself. I don't know. I believe, no, it was actually not in myself. Believe that something will happen and you will manage it. Yeah. Looking back now, I say this must have been really crazy, but yeah, sometimes crazy things happen, and it's a start of a new life.
Yeah, as I like to say, you have to be crazy in this world. You have to be a little bit of crazy, to make something, because if it's everything ordinary, then it's not worth, or you have to grab the attention of other people, and you have to shoot for the stars in order for them to say, yeah, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. So I recognize myself in your story very much, and my husband. So we come from Bosnia, so we came here on a student visa as well. So because we did graduate and we have the experience and so on. But as you said yourself, if you're coming from non-EU countries, it's a different world from EU. So Austria still has this, financial services that you have to show that you have. It's like around 12,000 euros nowadays. And as you said, that's what we used to do. There are like a group of people, and then you transfer from one to another. You gather that paper that day, you bring it to Magistrat, and then the other day you just give back the money, and then it circulates. It
circulates, from one student
because
to the other.
You don't have, everybody's working from day to day and to pay his rent in a month. So it still works. It's still applicable. It's still done, even like 20 years after.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Darina. And it's so important to have that one first contact. Someone recommending you for something. That's so important. And it's as well in work. It's for me as well. When someone says, "Okay, yeah, I see some potential and talent in you. Let me recommend you," or like just put a word for you, or put your CV forward, so that people say, "Okay, let me check that. Okay, I want to have an interview with you."
Yes.
So how do you create your network nowadays? So how do how do you meet people? Because in your job, as well as mine, network is everything. You need to know people, what are the projects out there, whom to talk, and so on?
Professionally, it's easier because, you know, I have been all my life I've been in sales, you know, and in sales you're always meeting people, probably with the exception of last year when we're so remote, but even remote you meet new people. But you know, professionally, it's very important to take advantage of all the platforms that are there. Not only LinkedIn, but you have events, conferences, possibilities, formal invitations from networks. So it is really great to take advantage of everything. It's not necessary to over network because everything is costs time. Mm. But it is always important to take advantage of possibilities to meet new people. Mm. What I have also seen that very often professional, so purely professional contacts can become also personal. Yes. And also even sometimes friendships. But particularly, so take advantage of every contact you make. Yeah. So it's not only about collecting business cards, but also take advantage of it. Keep in contact. Yeah. And you never know when you would need the person.
Absolutely. So I always say, you know, if we agreed on something, I will send you this or that. So it's important to follow up. And even if we don't hear from each other for a year or two, I usually hear from people years after, because, you know, I move from one company or they move from one company to another. And at some point I have a project that I would like to discuss with them. So we just take it from there. So it doesn't mean, you know, there's no bad feelings, so to say. So we had that moment, we shared that discussion, that conversation, we followed up. And when there's another opportunity, we take it from there.
Yeah, and I also see it is always giving and taking. Yeah, so when you also show that you're also ready to help, you have a contact, when you can help somebody with a piece of information, or you can recommend somebody for something, this is also very valued. And when I would need something from somebody, then it is also coming back.
Absolutely. Before we move to, you know, what you're reading and what would you like, so what are you reading at the moment, or even listening, like podcasts now are a big hit. So anything else that you would like to share with our viewers that are considering to move to Austria as well from EU and non-EU? So how to prepare in the best way?
You know, in my particular case, I didn't have time to prepare at all. Yeah, because I had to leave. I think preparation is good. You know, it's like going to a new customer. You read the websites and you get all the information. And fortunately, nowadays with the internet, you have all the information you have, and more than this. I think when you come to a new country, it's good to know somebody that you can physically or over telephone talk to. So not only to rely on the institutions and on the internet, but to have somebody to talk to have somebody who has already experienced some of these steps, and can help or give really an advice. So search for contact before you go there. And other than this, when somebody wants to come to Austria, so there is already a vision or a goal in their head. So do not forget that goal and go for it. Yeah, do not be afraid of fallbacks, of difficulties with institutions. Do not get offended when you feel being a foreigner in another country, and to get people who say, okay, what are you doing here, go back, or something like this. So don't allow somebody to decide what you should achieve or not. So just keep focused and don't forget what is your goal.
Thank you so much. That's a really great message before we wrap up. Darina, what are you reading or what are you listening at the moment?
During the Corona time, I have to say it was really very challenging time for me. Probably we in the IT industry were the people that were mostly challenged. You know, I was listening to somebody. It was like, you know, I'm not, you know, I have so free time, or we are doing home office, or we are kind of short work regulations. At 2 o'clock, I'm not allowed to work anymore, and stuff like this. You know, none of this was the case for me. One conf call after the other, kids at home, homeschooling, cooking in between. So I realized I need more time for myself. So in terms of podcasts, I listen to podcasts where mindfulness is, so to say, the focus. So how to really take more time for me and calm down, so to say. And reading, I like to read for pleasure, and I like to read to develop. Yeah. So at the moment I'm in the phase of reading for development, and I got actually from one of the of our managers in SAP, I got a book recommended. It is called the One Thing. It's not really in focus.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know it.
I see it.
Yeah, it is called the One Thing. We particularly now you're.
That's my baby. She's here.
Take it.
Yeah, you can talk. She just woke up, so she's here.
She needs mom, of course.
She needs mom, of course. She's laughing. She's laughing, so she's crying. She needs
Hello.
mama. Hi.
So sweet. Particularly we women and mothers want to be everything at the same time: the best mother, the best professional, the best manager, the best wife. Sometimes it's not possible and not necessary at all to be the best in all of these things. And very often you make the biggest progress when you focus on one thing. Multitasking is a very modern word. This doesn't exist.
Yes.
This is just not possible. It is harming your oneself, you know. So the One Thing, this book is basically giving, of course, also some tips and tricks, and there is a web page and the community and all that stuff. It is a book how to identify the one thing that is really moving you forward, which is helping you to progress, so that all the other things, which you also have to do, of course, they somehow automatically come with you.
Perfect.
This is on a professional and a personal side as well. I can also recommend this one.
Thank you so much. I think we all need that. And as you said, you know, some of us, I'm also in the IT software industry, so it was a very, very busy year for us. As you said, you know, it was working day and night around the clock. Yeah, because as you said, in some situation we had to, you know, you had to change completely the strategy because, you know, you relied on certain projects that had to be moved or postponed to the next year or year after. And you have to kind of, you know, the company needs to survive, you know, you have to pay the bills and you have to pay the salaries and so on. So thank you so much, Darina. She's awake and she's listening. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to hear your story and to have you as a guest, and to all of you who have listened and watched this interview. So thank you so much. We are looking forward to your comments. So if there's anything that stayed with you, please share with us, connect with us on LinkedIn. So Darina is on LinkedIn, so I will link her contacts as well. And we're looking forward, you know, to bring you more episodes and more guests. And
we are always looking for new talents at SAP. So feel free to contact me if you need some assistance, working student for very, very younger ones, or also professionals later on. Perfect. Thank you so much, Darina. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys, and greetings from Vienna. Thank you very much.